Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to All Access with your boy, Tazion. Let's go, let's go. First, we're going to be talking about Kevin Durant and the West Coast Conference, right? So, Kevin Durant, I like Kevin Durant over there in the West Coast Conference. He didn't got moved to Houston in the last year. And I like Houston because now with Kevin Durant, they're able to do something in the West Coast, right? So now the Houston Rockets are a team that you got to worry about with Kevin Durant. They gave up Jalen Green and a couple of role players for him. So now, Green is over there with the Suns and Kevin Durant is over there with the Rockets. Now over there with the Rockets, you got Kevin Durant, you got Shane Goon, you got Thompson, you got the white guy, Shepard. That boy be balling, blasting threes all day. So I like Shepard. I like Reed Shepard. He really doing his thing. And I think all of them together is a great piece. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a great team together. So now the Houston Rockets are a team that you got to worry about in the West Coast Conference, along with other teams that we got. But we're going to talk about them later. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets. So people say that Kevin Durant is in an age where he might not be the star player no more. He might not be able to carry the team on his back. So what y'all think? Me personally, I think Kevin Durant is still somebody that you got to worry about. I think he still got all the tools, that he needs to do what he got to do to carry a team on his back. That's all he needed, some pieces to go with him, and he can pull it off. He can actually get to the West Coast Conference title. Now, with the injuries that he didn't have, people will say that he's washed up, that at this point he might be a little overrated. But if you ask me, I say miss me with that bullshit. Because Kevin Durant is definitely somebody that you got to worry about, and he's going to be a big piece with the Houston Rockets, right? So, other than that, in the West Coast Conference, you got another team that you got to worry about, and they've been in the West Coast Conference causing a lot of ruckus for a couple years now, and that's the Denver Nuggets. Let's give it up for the Denver Nuggets. Right? Give it up for the Denver Nuggets. And their main piece over there, their main star is the Joker, right? So the Joker is a big center who can pass the ball, that can dribble, that can shoot the 3-point, rebound. I mean, like I said, his vision is amazing the way he passed the ball. You never seen that before from a big guy like that. So the Joker is definitely a big piece. Now, when I used to look at the Joker a couple years ago, I didn't like the Joker just because his size, and I thought that he was actually overrated. But when I sat back and took a good look at the Joker, he's definitely MVP status, and he's definitely a main piece with the Denver Nuggets that can get them to the championship again, right? So I like the Joker. Now, when we speak of Denver Nuggets, we gotta speak of Jamal Murray. All these years he's been balling like he's been balling, and he's never been on the All Star team. Can you believe that? I cannot believe that. But no, he's never been on an All Star team. So this year he's actually being nominated to be on the All Star team. So let's give it up for Jamal Murray. Like, this year might be one of his best years in his career, and I think he's able to really help the Joker over there with the Denver Nuggets. And I think that they're definitely a team that you're going to have to worry about again this year. Now, with the Denver Nuggets, they got a lot of roles, but their chemistry is 100% up to par, right? They've been playing together for a long time now. Now they got Tim Hardaway Jr. over there, and he splashed that three like no other. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely going to help the team out. He's definitely going to help the team out. Then you got Gordon over there, right? Gordon been there for a while. He put up numbers too, rebounding. His 3-point got better. And Aaron Gordon is definitely somebody who definitely is a compliment to the team, right? So I like the Denver Nuggets, and I like everything they're doing. They got a guy over the name Watson. Watson, yeah, and he's a young guy that's been added to the team, and I like Watson. So Watson's pretty good. So with all the pieces they got over there, oh, they got a dude. They got a dude that he might be a rookie this year, right? I can't think of his name, but I'll put it in the video when I edit it and I think of his name. I put it in there. But the rookie guy, he's very good. You know what I'm saying? So with all the pieces that the Denver Nuggets got, I really think they's a powerhouse in the West Coast Conference. So I like the Denver Nuggets. Now, when we're speaking of the West Coast Conference, we definitely got to speak of the San Antonio Spurs and the big guy over there, Wemby. A 7-footer that is amazing. He can do it all, right? Dribbling, 3-point, passing. He's blocking. This defense is like incredible. Like you don't want to try to take it to the rim when you got Wemby down. So he's definitely somebody that you got to worry about. So I like the San Antonio Spurs, and they got Darren Fox over there, who's been in the league for a while now, and he was a good player over there in Sacramento, but now they done added him with the Spurs. I think that chemistry is finally getting to the point where they might be able to take the West Coast title, and that's saying a lot with all the teams in the West Coast that that's fighting for their title. So I really like the San Antonio Spurs, Wemby and Darren Fox. They got Cassell over there, who's a young guy, maybe a second, maybe going on third year in the league, but he's been balling too, right? So let's give it up for Cassell because he's definitely one of them guys that you got to worry about. He gonna get his points. You know what I'm saying? He's playing defense like he's supposed to, and the San Antonio Spurs is a really good team right now, y'all. So what y'all think? Put it in the comments. I like the San Antonio Spurs, and so like I said, you got Darren Fox, you got Wemby, you got Cassell over there. It's the big three. You know what I'm saying? The big three over there, and they doing their thing. And the only thing I think that might stop San Antonio right now from actually getting to the title is they're still young. They're still a young team with all the players they got over there. They're still young. They're still young guys, right? But with the coaching staff and stuff like that, I think that they might be able to mold this team and get their maturity up to the point where they might actually take the West Coast title. So like I said, we done spoke of the Denver Nuggets, we done spoke of Houston, and we done spoke of San Antonio Spurs, right? So y'all all know what's next. The fourth team I got to take it off is OKC, right? Let's give it up for OKC. Let's give it up for OKC. Now Shai, when we speak of Shai, he done broke out into something that we never seen before, right? Well, I can't say we ain't seen before. I'm gonna say that he's looking Michael Jordanish, right? He's definitely looking Michael Jordanish, and a lot of people say, "Dude, you crazy, Michael Jordan? Like, how you gonna compare Shai to Michael Jordan?" Well, the proof is in the pudding. He's putting up numbers like never before, and like when I look at him, can nobody stop him on the floor? So when he's taking the whole team to the rim, and you know what I'm saying, they can't even stop the boy from scoring. Like when they do try to stop him, he pass it off to another player. You know what I mean, making the right decisions. He's doing everything that he's supposed to do. And it seemed like he done worked on his mechanics to the point where like he got it down pat. Like his shot is down pat. And that little float game in the middle that he do, like it's hard to stop that. He got it to the point where people can't even stop him, you know what I mean? So his IQ is through the roof, right? So I would have to say Shai is one of them players that he's definitely carrying the OKC Thunder. He's carrying Oklahoma City Thunders on his back, right? So he's not doing it by himself, though, right? He got role players over there. He got Williams over there. You know what I'm saying? Williams is somebody who I would say the second person on the team, the second highest scorer on the team that's doing what he's supposed to do. He's playing his role. He's not trying to do too much, but he can put up numbers when his numbers call, right? So I got to give it up for Williams over there. And OKC, what can I say about them? They already got a title, right? They already got a title. They looking good. That's all they got to do is continue to take what they doing and just keep putting up numbers, keep focused, and they'll be right back at the championship, right? So OKC is a team that we all know they can do it. They some young guys themselves, but their team has been together for a while, and I like how they been positioned Dort, and they done got his 3-point shot up to par. So his defense, his defense is a major part of their scheme. So he's doing what he's supposed to do, and with them players together, they really the center home. He's really an amazing center, right? So when we're talking a big man like Joker, um, Shangoon, Wemby, we'll also have to add his name to the conversation because he's a player to be reckoned with. He's a player to be reckoned with. He's definitely somebody you got to worry about. He can put up 20 points any night. You know what I'm saying? 20 and 10 player all the time. So I like Holmgren. And yeah, man, the OKC, Oklahoma City Thunder, they somebody you got to worry about. So shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? And right now we're gonna switch it up a minute. We're gonna talk about the music industry, right? We're gonna talk about the music industry because that's what we do over here on All Access Content with your boy Tazio. So when we speaking of music, everybody talk about they top 5, right? There's been a conversation going on for years. Everybody got their top 5. So since we're talking about the top 5, I'm gonna give you my top 5, right? So first of all, we're gonna go from 5 down to 1. Right? We're gonna go down 5 down to 1. So at 5, I would have to say my rapper at number 5 that I had to put at number 5 is somebody that if you come from my era and you grew up on gangster music and hip hop, he'll be very well known. And that's no other than my boy, Spiggity Spice One, right? Spiggity Spice One did something to the game that, he had an impact that some people will never see, right? Like some people can't get to the level that he got to in this rap industry. Now, him being all the way from the West Coast, right? Like his music touching down south is a very big thing because back then, you know, I would say that people from the East Coast, the West Coast, and things like that didn't even think that people down south heard their music. But we definitely heard it. We had the tape and we was bumping it, right? So Spice is my number 5 pick in my top 5, right? Spiggity Spice one. So we got Spice at number 5. So we're gonna go down to number 4, right? My number 4 rapper actually had to be somebody that we all know very well, right? We all know him very well. He did something tremendous to this game, and he's a role model for a lot of people. And he didn't transition from the music game to movies and films, right? and that's nobody other than your boy Ice Cube, right? Now, here in my top five, I know you might say, "Oh, this an old nigga, right? He's an old nigga." Well, you're right. I'm a unk, and this is my top five. And if you're from my era, then you probably would agree. So we're gonna say shout out to Ice Cube, right? Shout out to Ice Cube. He's somebody who's definitely um, had an impact on this rap game, and we all know of him from his group that he had back in the '90s. One of the first groups to start the gangster rap, and that's NWA. Now you know NWA had their little beefing and stuff like that. And Ice Cube was one of the guys who was able to come from that situation and make his own situation. He made his own situation, y'all. Like he made it to the point where he made his own identity outside of the group. Now that's something hard to do. Like most groups break up and you never hear of the none of the groups again, right? But he did something that really wasn't done before. And he transitioned his music career into films and movies. So like I said, Ice Cube will have to be one of the top rappers. So Ice Cube coming in at my number four spot, right? So shout out to Ice Cube. Shout out to Ice Cube. At number three, it's getting hard now, right? It's getting kind of hard because in my top five, back in the day, we just didn't listen to anybody for any reason, for the clout, or just because that was the way to ride. Like they had very much influence on us. And you know, back then it was kind of like somebody imitated and you actually wanted to be like, you know what I'm saying? Outside of their music, you know, their image had an impact too. That's going with Spice One, Ice Cube. To my number three pick would have to be Jay Z. That's right. Let's give it up for Jay Z. Let's give it up for the jigger man. You know what I'm saying? Jay Z, somebody who in his rap game, kind of like Cube, made a big transition. But with Cube, it was moves and films, and with Jay, it was the business. You know what I mean? He stayed focused on the business, and he made the right move in the business world to make himself a billionaire. And now he owns Rock Nation. So Jay Z is one of the people who I listened to very much growing up. You know, my brother put me up on Jay Z when I was a young guy, and I've been hooked ever since. Right? Like first, I was just a down south Master P, you know, no limit type of guy. Who else? I would say UGK, 8 Ball. You know, that was mostly what I was listening to. But when I took a good listen and I started to mature a little bit, I started to understand the shit that Jay Z was saying. Right? I can say that he was ahead of his time. Jay Z was definitely ahead of his time, and he was somebody who had an impact on the rap game like no other. So when I talk to some of my guys, you know, I hang around a lot of guys that's from the Midwest and down south. And my Midwest guys, you know, they ain't very fond of Jay Z. You know what I'm saying? They say they never listen to Jay Z and things of that nature. And I'm like, that's very disrespectful to say that Jay Z is not one of your top five. But everybody had their opinion, right? Everybody got their opinion, and I respect it. You know what I'm saying? But for me, for you not to see Jay Z as one of the top rappers, he ain't got to be in your top five. But to say that he's not one of the top rappers, then that's crazy. It's crazy. But Jay Z, you know, with the Hard Knock Life uh, album, I think it was in the times of Sean Carter or something like that. That was one of his best albums to me. And of course, The Blueprint and Reasonable Doubt. Now, with the Reasonable Doubt album, I actually had to go back and listen to it because when it first came out, maybe I was too young, or whatever it might be. But when I went back and listened to it, outside of the how many blueprints did it come in? Y'all put it in the comments how many blueprint albums he came out with. But the one that I like the most is the one, I guess, when him and your boy Nas was beating, right? And he had a song on there that was something like, I had a dream I did, big I did, big I did. So if you remember that, put that in the comments, man. That was the album that I liked. It was a Blueprint album, but that was the one that I liked. And he had the, of course, the response to the Ether record, right? He had a response, and that was one of my favorite tracks too. So I like the Blueprint album, but like I said, the Reasonable Doubt album outside of that one probably is my favorite one. So you know, with the Can I Live on there, that was one of my favorite tracks, and Can't Knock the Hustle. Bank with Mary on there. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a big one. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Yeah, man. That motherfucking Reasonable Doubt was a big album, and it had a lot of hits on it. So shout out to Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? So that was my number 3 pick, right? Was Jay-Z. Now some say, so you got a top 5 without Nas in there? Well, you gotta wait and see. So at number 2, we're gonna have to put no other than the late great Biggie Smalls, right? Let's give it up for Biggie Smalls. Biggie Smalls, that's right. I'm saying the Notorious Big. I love Big, you know what I'm saying? I love Big, you know what I mean? I listened to his shit constantly when I was growing up. The Ready to Die album was the best album that he had to me. He only had 2, right? So not much to choose from. But the Life After Death album definitely was a banger too. But to me, the Ready to Die album was the biggest one to me. It was straight raw, uncut, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of the best albums I think he came out with, right? So I like Biggie Smalls, the impact that he had. Like I was saying, me personally, I was mostly on down south music back in the day, but Biggie is one of the people that made me start listening to East Coast music and start respecting it and start understanding, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta give a shout out to Biggs because, you know what I mean, I listened to his shit growing up and I felt it to another level, you know what I'm saying? Like, Just Me and My Bitch, you know what I'm saying? That track was definitely a hard track, you know what I mean? I felt that, you know what I'm saying? What was the other one? It's Not Ready. Give Me the Loop. Give Me the Loop. One of the hardest tracks on that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Like Big was something else, you know what I'm saying? The Warning track, that was definitely a hard track, you know what I'm saying? Who the fuck is this paging me at 5:46 in the morning? Like Big was hard, man, you know what I'm saying? Hardest nigga out there back in the day, man. So definitely give it out to Big, you know what I'm saying? Give it up for Big, man. Big ups to Big, you know what I'm saying? So that's my number 2 spot, your boy, Notorious Big. Outside of that, people wondering, so who's at the number 1 spot, right? Who's at the number 1 spot? And I would have to say, is it Nas or is it Tupac? Well, you already know. With me, I love Nas, but I'm gonna have to give this one to your boy Tupac. That's right. Machiavelli, 7 Day Theory, Illuminati, all over your body like a 12-gauge shot. You know what I'm saying? Give it up to Tupac, y'all. For my number 1 spot. So we love Tupac over here. We love Tupac over here. Tupac got us through a lot of hard times, right? A lot of people that come from the street, you know what I'm saying? We related to Tupac on another level. You know what I mean? He really got us through some hard times. Like, no lie, right? So Tupac is definitely one of the people that we taking our hats off to and we got much respect for. Now when we talk about Tupac, right? You know, I done listened to some of these interviews and they say that Pac wasn't no real gangster, this and that, whoop de whoop. But with me, I feel like I don't give a damn about that. Like when you doing something, you always gonna have people that talk down on you, and you know what I mean. So the truth of the matter is that like we don't know. I didn't know Pac personally, so for me to say that, I don't know. But I'm basing Tupac on his craft, right? I'm basing him on his craft and not his street credibility. So I take my hats off to Tupac, and you know what I mean. I'm giving it up to Tupac for my number one rapper in my top five. So outside of that, y'all, you know, we didn't talk about the Houston Rockets. We didn't talk about OKC, the Nuggets, and the Spurs. Who's gonna take it all in the West Coast Conference, and who's gonna get that title? We don't know. We're gonna have to tune into the NBA and see. We didn't talk about my top five. Who's my favorite in the top five? You know what I'm saying? And I got to say that Tupac definitely came in number one on my top five. Now, we're going to switch it back a little bit, right? We're going to switch it back a little bit to the NBA. And we're going to talk about my favorite rookie in the league right now who's putting up numbers, putting up buckets like no other. And that's going to have to be the guy on the Memphis Grizzlies, Coward, number 23. He's putting up numbers, y'all. The boy's balling. He's the guy that I seen that really is taking his spot in my rookie watch, right? This is the rookie watch. Who win it for the week? The rookie watch. And I'm gonna say it's Coward. Coward been putting up some numbers, and you know, Cooper Flag is giving them a run for his money. But when I see Coward play, it's like to be as young as he is, it seems like he got all the tools that it takes to be an NBA star. Like the guy's really putting up numbers, and I think he really mixed good over there with John Morant and Jaren Jackson. So I like Coward, and he's gonna be my number one pick for my rookie watch, right? So we'll have to see who is gonna be next week. We're gonna have to tune into the NBA. Y'all check out the rookies and see who's your number one rookie. You know, put it in the comment. Who's your number one rookie? You know what I'm saying? But with me, for this week, it's going to have to be Coward. I think he might take Rookie of the Year. Ooh, am I saying a lot? Am I going too far? Rookie of the Year, I think Coward's going to take it. But Cooper Flag definitely putting up some numbers. Outside of Cooper Flag, I'm going to have to check out the other rookies in the league right now. Like I said, the guy over there in Denver. It's sad I don't know his name, but I'm going to put his name in the video. You know? I like him because he balling too. You know what I'm saying? That guy balling too. But for me, it's gonna be Memphis Grizzlies, Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Now, when we talking about Memphis Grizzlies, while we talking about Memphis Grizzlies, y'all, what's going on over there with John Morant, right? John Morant, it's a lot of commotion going on over there with him, right? So I'm thinking, Memphis might want to get it together because that's a player that you don't want to lose, right? That's a player that you don't want to lose, John Morant. Y'all done kind of built this team around him, you know, like we ain't seen no player like John Morant at his size to be as short as he is, but athletic as he is. Like he's a true talent, and if I'm over there at Memphis, I'm trying to figure out whatever I got to do to make this man happy, right? Because it's kind of like the Trae Young thing, you know. Trey Young, he been over there with Atlanta for a while. And I think they done finally moved him to the Wizards, right? So I get it. At some point, you got to move on if things ain't working out. But for me, I still feel like it's a loss, right? You don't give up your key player. Like when people go see the Hawks, they're going to see Trey, right? They're going to see Trey. Let's just be real. And I think it's the same with Memphis. When people go see games, they're going to see John Morant. So if I'm Memphis, owner or whatever it might be, I'm trying to figure out what I got to do to beat John Morant. But yeah, y'all, like Memphis need to get it together over there. They really got to get it together over there. But with that being said, you know what I'm saying? I've been on here for too long, yapping, talking about sports, talking about my top 5. But if you like the video, like, subscribe, share, and that's been the first episode of All Access Culture with your boy Taz Young. Holla.